Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you the 3 canning jars you need no matter if you can, no matter what you do in your kitchen, that are the most helpful, the most versatile, that you can use for the most different purposes. I'm Jenny and I blog at The Domestic Wildflower, and I help people get started with canning, homemade foods and crafts, and let's dive in. So there's a bunch of different types of canning jars. There's wide mouth and regular mouth, which are just the different openings at the top of the jar. And that is, I think, the main difference between the types of canning jars. And in my blog post, The Best Canning Jars, I share, if I had to go back in time and just start my canning journey all over, I would only buy and accept from friends and relatives wide mouth canning jars. These are wide mouths. They are like maybe, I think, 3¼ inches across, and a regular mouth is a little bit narrower. I had a label on that lid, but that's like closer to like 2½ inches across. And the reason is that all wide mouth jars can stack on top of other wide mouth jars. And not that I necessarily want to stack jars all the way to the ceiling, though I'm the type of person who might be tempted to. Just being able to stack 2 jars, 3 jars, it really maximizes your shelf space, and it's just really handy. These guys, the regular, you can't really stack them. I mean, you can, but it is not, you're not supposed to stack them. They fall down. It's not a good stack. You can put one regular on top of a wide mouth, and you have some slack there. They slide around, which is okay, because normally your shelf isn't wobbling around, but it's not ideal. In my blog post, I share the 3 jars that I think everybody should have in their kitchen, whether they can or not, no matter what you're doing. The very first is the wide mouth pint. A pint refers to 2 measuring cups, and this is it. We drink out of these. I use these to store leftovers. I can in them. For canning purposes, I think this is like the right amount for almost everything. It's not too much jam. I mean, it's kind of a lot of jam, but in a good-sized family, you'd go through it pretty quickly. It's the perfect amount of tomato sauce for 1 dinner, or if you are a smaller family, 2 dinners. It's great for juice because it's 1 or 2 servings of juice. If I have one of these of grape juice, I'll open the jar and distribute it into 3 little glasses with ice cubes for my kids, to kind of dilute it a little bit. But it's super, super versatile. So even if you don't can and have no intention of learning how to can, these jars are stackable, they're sturdy, they're BPA free, they are recyclable, and they're like 50 to 75 cents a piece. That's very affordable. And if you're a person who is interested in reducing your waste, which frankly is a good way to reduce the amount of money you spend, you can bring them with you, and as a wise blog reader has mentioned, you can keep them in your car or in your purse, and then you can just put your leftovers in them if you're eating out, to avoid a styrofoam takeout box or any kind of takeout box. So the second jar that I recommend for all kinds of household use is the pint. This is 1 measuring cup, so 8 ounces, and it's a wide mouth pint. There's all kinds of half pint jars that are like jam and jelly jars. That you can can anything in those jars, and some of them are really cute. They have like berries on the side, or like a quilted hex, like diamond pattern on the side. Those are pretty. They're cute, but these are stackable. They're really they're wider than they are tall, so they're less likely to tip over on your center console in your car if you're driving and snacking. I give my kids like a serving of dry cereal if we're going to have like a snack with, Cheerios and raisins, or almonds and raisins, or these are good for like the broken ends of crayons if you want to have like a good container to store something small, or a broken necklace, or whatever. They're really, really versatile, sturdy, helpful containers for life. Like, so good. For canning, they're really great for jam. I mean, it's so ideal for jam. They're a small enough amount that you can do one batch and then have plenty of jars to give to friends and family and loved ones. And again, they're just 8 ounces, but it's a wide mouth half pint. So if I could go back in time, I would just get those 2 jars. I really would, because having like the narrow mouth pint and the jelly jars that are also cute but different, the regular mouth, that's like, it's just not simple. Then I have jars that don't stack on other jars, and I mean, it's like wonderful and great, and I'm lucky to have jars given to me, and I didn't really know any better when I was getting started. But I would definitely say, if you are starting at the beginning, or you're just beginning your journey to using less plastic junk in the kitchen, get this guy, the wide mouth pint, and the wide mouth half pint. And then there's another jar that people don't use as often, and it is a regular mouth jar, but it's a 4 ounce. This is all made by Ball Canning. And there's very, very similar styles that are also very good, but made by other companies. But this is a 4 ounce, I think they call it a jelly jar. And this is really very useful for when you want a much smaller jar, which sometimes you do, and that's great. For canning, it's really nice if you have a really richly flavored or super spicy preserve and you only want to like make a little tiny jar of it, and then you can have a ton of jars to give, like hot sauce or like a chocolate cherry jam or something that's like a really savory, rich, delicious, strongly tasting thing, or spicy. Great choice for that. And then this is so teeny tiny. This is like, my kids got these like dinosaur egg things from the grocery store where they're like chiseling out of this like ball of like fake cement dinosaur bones, and the bones were so tiny. Put your dinosaur bones in these, okay? Perfect, teeny tiny jars. And again, these are wonderful because they're reusable, they're BPA free, they're safe for little hands and little bodies and big bodies. And they're just a great addition to your canning jar stack. And those are the 3 canning jars that I would recommend to anybody, whether you're canning or not, no matter what you have going in your kitchen. These will help you reduce your waste, preserve all kinds of dry goods in an airtight, with an airtight seal. And if you have any questions, please send them my way. But yeah, you can find the blog post, The Best Canning Jars, on the Domestic Wildflower, and I'll see you guys soon.